honey buns, and happy Vlogmas Soulmas season. Today we are going to be making a house dress. So grab your scissors and let's get started. Honey Bun TV. Okay, honey buns, everything you're going to need is going to be listed in the description box below, but I am going to be working with 2 yards of satin cheetah print fabric, okay? And all you're going to need is some scissors as well as a measuring tape. Now, the first step that I am doing here is literally folding my fabric from hot dog style to hamburger style, which is the fattest piece out the bunch, okay? And then the next thing that I'm doing is measuring down how long I want my house dress to be. Depending on if you like your house dress to sweep the floor or to be a little bit above where your ankle is dependent on you. But I'm literally just measuring from the top of my shoulder to the bottom, which came out to be about 58 inches in length. After that, I'm going to take my fabric and I'm just going to cut it in half, leaving me with now from 2 yards to 2 pieces. After I finish cutting my fabric, I'm going to take each piece and fold it together. And I say fold it together because we're going to be cutting the neckline and of course where the arms are going to be. So I'm just going to use a pattern. Now, I've already said this before, but depending on what your pattern is, it can be an old article of clothing or whatever. I am going to be using my jacket pattern because I am going to be cutting where the neckline is going to be. That is the only thing we are going to be cutting right now is your neckline for front and for back. After I finish cutting the neckline on both pieces, I like to fold them up and put them to the side and identify which one is the front and or back. Just a little tip or word of advice for the future: the front neckline is always going to be the longest compared to the back. So that's another way you'll be able to identify which one is the front and which one is the back. After that, you are going to take your 2 pieces of fabric and you are going to line them up shoulder to shoulder. Okay, honey buns, after we finish lining our fabric up shoulder to shoulder, neckline to neckline, we are just going to start off by sewing the shoulder pieces. So I'm going to take it to the sewing machine and then I'm going to come back and show you what it's going to look like. Okay, as you can see here, the shoulder points are together, but I have went ahead and hemmed the neckline. So the next thing that we are going to get ready to do is we are going to hem the side of our muumuu, and we could do the bottom after, but right now we're going to do the side. So when it comes to hemming, all you are going to do is fold over into your choice, your discretion. You're just going to fold over about 1/2 inch of fabric, and then you're going to sew along the line. Okay, so you see how this looks a little bit frayed and funky? We are going to fold that in about 1/2 inch or to 1 inch, whatever you prefer. And then we are going to sew where I just glided my finger on top of. And we're going to take our time because ain't nobody finna rush us, okay? Once you have finished hemming the sides, honey bun, and or the bottom, or if you was doing both, you are just going to see how much do you want your dress to come in and how down and how big do you want the arms to be. A good tip, or you know, word of rule of thumb, is to take a bodycon dress and just lay it in the middle so you can see where to come in at. But for me personally, I am going in about 7 inches because I want to give myself room, and this ain't no stretchy fabric, and I ain't finna bust side of it, okay? And then the next thing I'm doing is measuring down 15 inches. And how I found 15 inches is because I don't want my arm to be super big, but I just would like my arm to be big enough to the point where it's under my armpit, if that makes sense. So measure down from the top of your shoulder under where your armpit is, and then go inside how many ever inches where your bodycon dress lines in at, or where you figure it will not be too tight. I do recommend about 8 to 9 inches, okay? After we do that, I'm just going to pin my bottom up so I can do this all in one take rather than having to come back and do all that. But I am hemming the bottom the same way that I did the insides. And like I said, you're just going to sew over where I glided my finger at. Hey honey buns, I have slowed this video down because I want to make sure I thoroughly explain what I'm doing here. You see how I am going in a rectangular motion? Do you see that? Okay. Think about the points that I have made. I came 15 inches down and I went 7 inches in. This is where I met my points at. So when you sew, you are going to sew, and I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to sew upward, and then you are going to sew downward, okay? So you're gonna sew the inside going in, and then you're gonna flip your dress around to come straight down, just in the motion that I was doing it, rectangular. And you're just gonna take your time because this will involve you know, moving the dress a little bit to the side so you can make sure that you get your dress sewn straight down in that rectangular motion, okay? After you are finished sewing, honey buns, this is what it should look like. So like I said, you are going to go straight up, and then you're going to turn your dress to the front side or just the side, and you are going to sew straight down so your two pieces can connect. And as you can see here, I slowed it down a little bit so y'all can see what I am talking about. I hope you honey buns enjoyed that. See you tomorrow for Vlogmas Sewmas. Mwah.